dears, welcome to this new Italian tutorial. In this tutorial we will see how you can speak informal situation, so using formal speech basically, because in English you actually don't see it, and it's actually something that I like in English language, so that you don't see if you are talking formal or informal, so it's always you. But in Italian we actually have a difference, so when you talk informal and when you talk formal. And in Italy this is something that is actually important, because usually when you talk to somebody that you just met, somebody older than you, somebody higher than you in authority or rank, yeah, you are expected to use formal language. And so how do you do that? We have actually two ways, and we will start with the most used. So the way most used nowadays is using the third person. So what you do, you use the verb in the third person singular. So for example, if you want to ask what's your name to somebody older than you, so in a formal context, then you say come si chiama. So you use the third person of the verb chiamarsi. And so basically it's also what you would use to ask, for example, what's your friend's name? Come si chiama il tuo amico? So basically you use the same form, you use the third person singular for the verb. Then when it comes to pronouns, you also use the third person singular, but the female version. So even if you're speaking to a man, you have to use the female version of the pronoun. So for example, if you're using the diretto, then you have to use la. So for example, if you want to say I understand you, you say la capisco. So even if you're talking to a man, you use the female version, the female form of the pronoun. So, or if you're using the indiretto, then also here you have to use the female form of the third person singular, so you use le. So if you want to say I will call you, then you have to say le telefonerò. So you use le, even if you're talking to a man. So that's about the verb form that you have to use, and the pronoun form that you have to use. Now about adjectives, or about the form that you have to use in the participle when the participle is in the cases where you are supposed to conjugate it, then you just use what you need. So if you're talking to a man, then your adjective or your past participle, in the cases in which you need to conjugate it, then it would be in a masculine form. If you're talking to a woman, it would be in the feminine form. So for example, if you want to say have you gone to London? So if you're talking to a man, you say lei è andato a Londra. Or if you're talking to a woman, you say lei è andata a Londra. So this is the first way in which you can speak formal. So you use the third person, and so you use the first person singular on the verb, and you use the third person singular feminine form of the pronouns, and then the adjectives, you just conjugate them according to the person you are talking to. And then the adjectives and the past participles, you conjugate them based on the person you are talking to. So this is the first form. The second way in which we speak formal in Italian is using voi. So the second person plural. This is actually less used today, so it was very used in the past, very much. So it was how you would, this is actually the form that everybody was using in the past, but it is not used anymore. It's quite old-fashioned, and it's actually mostly used in southern Italy. So in southern Italy you will still hear it quite often, but in general it's way less used today. And so when you decided to go for this way, then what you have to use is the second person plural of the verb, so the voi. So instead of come si chiama, I say come vi chiamate. So this is just another way of asking formally, what's your name? Come vi chiamate. Or da dove venite, if you want to ask where are you from. While if I use the first way, so the lei, then I ask di dove è, da dove viene, for example. With the second way, so with the voi, I say da dove venite, di dove siete. And with the pronouns is actually nothing difficult, because what you use is the same pronoun form that you use for the second person plural, so for the voi. So you just say vi. For example, if I want to say I would like to talk to you, you say vi vorrei parlare. So this vi is to you, formal, but it actually is the same form that you used to say to you, the plural user, to a group. And actually with the vi, so with the second person plural, you see no difference between the diretto, so between the pronomen diretto, between the pronomen indiretto. So it's actually maybe a bit easier than talking with the lei. Then with the past participle and the adjectives, again, you have to just conjugate them according to the person you are talking to. So if you're talking to a man, you use the male, the masculine form. If you are talking to a woman, then you use the feminine form. So, for example, again, if I want to ask, have you gone to London? So I say, siete andato a Londra if I'm talking to a man, or siete andata a Londra if I'm talking to a woman. So that's basically it about how to talk formal. So just choose your way, what you feel more comfortable with, knowing that the first way is more used, and so that's it. And it's actually just a very last thing to say, because it's something that also see with my students. So it's something that everybody notices at the very first sight when they start speaking Italian. So that you have arrivederci and arrivederla. So these different, they basically mean the same. Just the difference is based on the way that you decide to speak formal. Because arrivederla, so is with the la, so is with the diretto, third person singular feminine. So you are using the lei form. Arrivederci is with the it is plural. So you're using actually arrivederci is so mostly we see each other. So until we see each other, but basically you are talking in a plural. So it's because you follow more the second way of speaking the formal. So if you use the voi, then you will say arrivederci. So if you use the lei, you will say arrivederla. And of course, if you want to use this greeting towards a group of people, then you have to use arrivederci. Because arrivederla is just what you say to one person. And a very last tip about formal way of addressing is that when you write a formal letter or a formal email, or in whatever case you have to write using the formal, you have to capitalize the first letter of the pronoun. So if you use the lei or the la or the le that I mentioned, or if you're using the voi or the vi, so the first letter, so the L, the B, has to be capitalized. And this is also how you recognize it when you read something. You recognize that it's formal because you see the capital letter. And so that's it for this tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumb up. And please subscribe to my channel if you like my tutorials, if you like my videos, and if you want to be updated about that. Of course, feel free to post any question, any comments, any remark that you have. Or if you want me to talk about any particular topic, feel free to request it. Thanks for watching, and see you next tutorial. Ciao ciao!